Hi, Sam here from Future Riders. Today I've got the Revvi 20-inch here on the bench with me. I'm going to run through a quick step-by-step guide on how to build a bike. Now, if you've got a Revvi 18-inch, the build process is exactly the same. It's pretty simple to do, and it should only take you about 15 to 20 minutes to do so. The first thing we're going to do is get the bike down off the bench and take it out the packaging and set everything aside. So we've emptied the box, we've got everything set aside, ready to complete the build. You should have front wheel. You should have a nut on either side with two washers, one either side. We've got front mudguard. We've got number board with number board stickers. You've got your toolkit. You've got your handlebar pad. We've got the kickstand. Also, there should be a bolt with that as well, also there. You've got the owner's manual. That's a good read. And then you've also got the charger. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go head over to the bike and we're going to put the handlebars on. So we've got the bike on our stand. First thing we're going to do, you're going to need a 4mm Allen key. You're just going to undo these 4 Allen key bolts from the faceplate of the stem. And then what you'll notice is the stanchions are actually in the way of where the forks would sit. So what we'll do, we'll head over to this side. I always start on the right side. You're going to need a 6mm Allen key. So as you look at the bike from the front, on the back side of the forks, you're going to see 2 6mm Allen keys. 1, 2. We're just going to loosen those off. You don't need to take them out all the way, just enough to be able to slide the stanchion down the clamps. Okay, so what you want to do from the top here, you want about 2 to 3 mil from the top and then nip that back up. You don't need to hang off these, you just need to make sure they're tight enough to clamp the forks into place. It's always a good idea after the first ride, after the second ride, just keep checking all these nuts and bolts, and obviously the stem, make sure that's always tight as well. So, right side's done. We're going to go over to the left side. This one's a little bit different here now. So the left side, we're going to do the same again as the other. Just going to crack those off. Again, you don't need to undo them all the way. But what you might find this time is as you go to push it down, it stops. Now don't worry. All you need to do, the compression is locked out, so you just a couple of turns. What you'll find is that'll slide into place. So we're just going to match that up 2 to 3 mil from the top. And again, just nip that up into place. Okay, so now we're ready to put the handlebars back on. So now we can put the handlebars on. What you're going to see in the center of the handlebar is like a rough section. The 2 outer lines, if you just line them up with the holes, you'll find it's nice and easy. It's pretty much centered then. There's not too much adjustments you've got to do. You're going to put the faceplate on. Now, I always find it's easy with 2 people, I'm not going to lie. But if you put the 2 bottom ones in, it doesn't matter if the bars move. It's easy to find center. You're just going to pop those all in place. Once you've got it like that, you can actually let go. There we go. You're going to grab your 4mm Allen key. I'm just going to nip those up. Try and find, obviously, what you're going to do, you want it to be pretty even. So if you go from the top, get it into a position where you're kind of happy where everything is. And just keep nipping it down so everything's square and it sits square on top of the handlebars. Again, just before you nip it up, we're going to find center. Make sure you're happy with the angle of the brakes. Again, you can adjust them after, but I'm just going to nip those up now. Now we can move on to fit in the brake lever. Brake lever, dead simple to fit. You're going to need your 4mm Allen key. You're just going to come in, undo that, lift that over. You're going to roughly find the position of where the brake lever wants to sit and where you're happy with. Again, once your little one sits on the bike, you can adjust all of these to suit their riding so that they're comfortable. You're just going to nip that up into place. The next thing we're going to do is just move over. We're going to connect the throttle and we're going to connect the brake sensors. So connecting the throttle and the brake sensor. What we're going to do, we're going to find the brake sensor first, which is the red one. We're going to find a little arrow. We're going to find the red plug. Also on this end, there's going to be a little arrow. We're going to line those 2 up. Just be dead careful. Slot it in place. Same with the throttle. You're going to find the arrows on both sides. Line those up. Don't force it if they don't line up. just pop those into place. What we'll do next, we'll just check the bike turns on, throttle works, and the brake sensors work. So to check it, we're just going to turn the bike on, twist the throttle, make sure the rear wheel moves, which it does, and then we're just going to check the brake sensors as well. So we're going to pull the brake and try and twist the throttle. Nothing happens. Check the other side. Again, nothing happens. No brakes on. Perfect. Turn the bike off. We can move on to the next stage, putting the number board on and the mudguard. So we're going to do number board first. You need a 5mm Allen key. You're just going to pull that out of there. I always find, pop it in there. Now, just for future reference, there is a VIN number of your bike. You're going to find that on the back of the frame also, but it's just on the front. You're going to move that in. It's got a little lip on the back of the number board to sit on the forks. I'm going to nip that up. There we go. And obviously now you've got your stickers and numbers for the little ones to pick their own name and number for. Front mudguard, dead simple. We're just going to undo this brake line clip. Just going to put that into place, nip that back up. There we go. It's going to hold the brake cable, stop it from snagging. And then you're going to need 4mm, and you're also going to need a 10mm spanner. We're just going to undo that. Pull that into place. And you're going to nip that up. So the last thing we're going to do, we're just going to put the handlebar pad on, and then we're going to flip the bike upside down and put the front wheel on. So I've flipped the bike upside down, just being careful of obviously the throttle when I'm putting it down. But before I can put the front wheel on, what I'm going to do, there's a little red pad separator here. We're just going to pull this out of place. Now obviously the disc will go through and the wheel will sit on clean. Okay, so we're coming to the final stages, second to last step, putting the front wheel on. Now, I always find, I just remove the washer and the nuts from both sides. I find it easier just to guide it in place. Obviously, we've removed the disc spacer. Now, it's always a good idea to just make sure that nobody clips the front brake or presses the brake before you've got the front wheel in. Just purely for the fact that, obviously, it'll put pressure in the brakes, it'll squeeze the pads together, and you'll find that it's a little bit harder to get that disc in when there's no space. Okay, so they're nipped up. We're going to grab the 15mm ratchet that they've given us with the toolkit. Nip that up. Same on the other side. Now, it's always a good idea, after your first ride, just come back, check that they're still tight. And again, probably once a week or once every other ride, just checking that they're tight. Okay. So I'm happy with that. The wheel is square. We're going to move over. And we're going to put the kickstand on. So last step before putting the bike on charge, we're just going to grab our 6mm Allen key, and we're just going to pop the stand on and nip that up. It's a long bolt, but it's the last step. So that's all nipped up. I'm just going to give it one final, check that it works. I'm happy with that. All right, let's put the bike on charge. Okay, the bike build's now finished. What I like to do, if possible, before the first ride is just get the bike on charge for a couple of hours. So I'm going to plug the charger in, and then there's two ways of charging the bike. The most popular way is via the frame. So you're just going to slot that back, pop your charger in, turn the charger on the wall, and then what you'll find, there's a little light at the bottom of the charger that will go red once it's charging. Now, when it's fully charged, it'll go green. Once it's fully charged and you're ready to remove it, what I always like to do, best practice, turn it off at the wall first, and then remove it from the frame. So you can also remove the battery to charge it also. Now, during the winter months, I like to remove the battery, especially if you're leaving the bike in the shed or in the garage. Even in a garage, it gets cold in there. The battery needs to be stored above or around 10 to 15 degrees. So just undo the base plate. You've got a little lever, just pull that. And there you go. You can remove the battery that way and charge it inside the house where it's nice and warm. Again, when charging, don't leave unattended, and you're away. The bike is pretty much built now. We're just going to do some final tests, test the brakes. I always like to run over just every little nut and bolt as well, just to make sure everything's tight from factory. Okay, so there we have it. The bike build's complete. I've just gone over every nut and bolt, just checked everything to make sure that I'm happy with it. I've set a speed setting to the low setting, just for the first ride. What I'm going to do now, get the little one, just pop him on the seat, set the seat height, set the brake levers so they're correct to make sure you can reach them properly. And that's it. First ride ready to go. Now, if you've got any questions and you're unsure of anything, we do have a WhatsApp. You can contact us via email as well. We've got a selection parts online. We've got spare batteries in stock. If you ever need an inner tube or anything like that, you can just get in contact with us. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy your first ride.